Okay. All right, Colby, go right ahead.
All right. So this is stage 3 Golf R. So it's got all the stage 3 components, which would be anything from the stage 3 turbo kit itself to the intercooler, full exhaust system all the way from the turbo back. And then you've got high pressure fuel pump as well that's been replaced. And all of these are APR parts. You've got a carbon fiber intake. I'll pop the hood here just so I can at least walk you through some things, compare instructions, stuff of that nature. I'll turn it off.
Okay.
You don't have that in the background. So, as far as the parts that have been replaced under here that are aftermarket nature, is going to be the intake here, which of course is an APR intake. It's carbon fiber piece. Care instructions and everything for the intake are going to be located on the goapr.com support website. So go to support and then installation instructions, all your care, filter care, anything like that that needs to be changed.
Okay.
Then you've got the MAF housing and everything that goes back and goes down to the stage 3 kit. So you've got the GT 2867R turbo, anti-surge housing, all of the available components, oil lines, coolant lines, everything that goes with the kit itself. Intercooler, of course, you can't see it, it's under here. APR as well, and it's got the specific design to be able to keep your IATs down to a maximum of typical running period of just driving on the road, so it doesn't heat soak the engine as quickly. So you've got that. This module right here is for the low pressure fuel pump. So one of the upgrades for the stage 3, which was released from APR probably about 4 to 5 months ago, was a low pressure fuel pump. Basically what it is an auxiliary fueling system, which actually is connected to the rear, and it's a line that's ran all the way up here. Basically it's a secondary pump. So you've got 2 pumps back there now.
Both inside the fuel tank?
One's inside and one's an inline.
Okay, I see.
All right, so the one that's in the tank is stock.
Okay.
It has not been modified. The one that's auxiliary is actually inline, so you put it up on the lift. Mm-hmm. You can actually get to it if anything ever happens to it. Clean the fuel filter or anything like that.
Okay.
It's right there, and it is accessible. So what this does is actually it controls that fuel pump based on requested boost, requested load, and requested fuel. And then through this, it's tied into the CAN system, which is tied into the ECU. So that's where your wiring harness and everything is bolted in here. You've got a button right here on the side.
Okay.
It's right here, little red button. So when you are running, when the car is running, you've got the ability to undo that hose, and you can actually drain your fuel tank by pressing this button.
Oh.
Press that button if you ever want to go to the racetrack and you want to put 100 octane in it.
Or the wife puts 87 by accident in
87
there.
diesel, whatever. I've gotten so many people that said, "Oh, look, it's a diesel Golf."
Yeah.
No, it's not a diesel. Yes, I know the clutch is a little out, but it's not a diesel. But you can just unclip the hose back there with the little fuel, where the fuel line goes into the filter.
Nice.
And then you just hit this button right here, and it will drain the tank completely.
Nice.
So it drains it all the way to the bottom. It activates the high pressure and the low pressure side of the low pressure fueling system. So the stock pump and the other pump, this will activate both units.
I was wondering why the thing wasn't so noisy. Back in the day, we used to use the high pressure fuel pumps that just the whine would kill your ears. That's a beautiful, it's just supplementing the pressure of the regular pump. Okay, excellent.
And then you have your high pressure pump up here.
Yeah.
So this is the APR high pressure pump, and of course you got the APR sticker on it. It's got your serial number, all of that on it, if anything were to ever go wrong. All of the APR parts, including this, except for wear and tear, of course, come with lifetime warranties. All of it does. So anything as far as the exhaust itself, if it rusts out, anything like that, you get, people in the north have issues with salt all the time, and something on a weld seam rust out or anything, contact APR and say, "Hey, look, I've got this serial number on my catback portion, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they say, "Okay, send it back to us and we'll replace it." So there's lifetime warranty on those parts, as well as anything else under the hood here, as far as for mechanical faults or anything like that.
That's important, because some might say 3 pumps is excessive for a fuel system.
All right, so that's pretty much everything under the hood here. And the internals of the engine, you've got a couple of parts that have been replaced. The engine has been torn down, and the bottom end has been completely rebuilt. So the engine has been homed out. It's 0.05 over. So just enough literally to be able to slide new pistons.
Sure.
It's not enough over to where it's a 2.1 now or anything. It's still a 2-liter engine. So it's got APR pistons in it, which are built and made by Mahle. So if you know anything about Mahle pistons, they are the best, one of the best in the world as far as piston suppliers. So it's got Mahle by APR by Mahle pistons in it, and then it's got rods in it as well, which have been replaced, which are upgraded I-beam tapered rods, which are lightweight, have been lightened, and as well increased as far as the strength.
Are you still shopping those things?
They're all still shopping. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of that hasn't really changed. It's also got one of the cool little features with these rods over competitors of APRs is actually got oil drilling, so rifle drilled oil squirters in the bottom of it as well, to make sure that the bearings, everything stay completely oiled.
Yeah, I think I remember they've had that in motorcycles for some time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So some of the APR's competitors do not have those types of things because they're rods that you would buy that are $400 to $600.
Yeah.
These rods are $9.99 for the set of 4.
Yeah.
They are very expensive, well engineered, and the time and effort has been put into it. So as far as internal in the engine, that's pretty much what you're looking at. APR rods, APR pistons. Nothing else has been deleted as far as balance shaft, anything like that. All of that's still stock. When you start getting into those types of things, that's race car mode.
Okay. Does do the aftermarket pistons incur any additional warm-up time? To get to reduce clearances or anything?
Clearances are still the same, of course. As far as oiling itself, the rings and everything are still seated and designed the same way as the OE piston is.
Okay.
What a lot of people don't know is Mahle actually makes the OE pistons for this as well. So it's not that it's a aftermarket design; it's an entire
just better
change.
materials. Yeah.
It's just strength in materials,
Sure.
strength in the rings themselves, and then of course strength in the rods, which of course are not Mahle. As far as anything else under here, there's 2 different things you've got as far as in the drivetrain itself. The clutch in this one has been replaced, and it was replaced. You've got a reading on the trip timer there, and you can write down the mileage if you want to.
Okay.
But you got a reading on the trip timer. So basically, it's that plus 1,000 miles when the clutch was replaced, and then also the transmission was replaced at the same time. The clutch was replaced because the car's got almost 33,000 miles on it, or it's right at 33,000 miles. Clutch was replaced because typical wear and tear when you're at a 400 to 500 horsepower car that's running on a Stage 3 aftermarket clutch, typically they're going to last 20 to 25,000, 30,000 miles. That's what we've seen out of the South Bend application. This is a South Bend Stage 3 endurance clutch. You've got 3 different versions of the Stage 3. You've got a daily, endurance, and a drag option. This is the endurance, so it's actually got a heavier pressure plate on it to where, and you'll feel that of course on the pedal, to where it has a little heavier pressure plate on it. But as far as materials between the 3 of them, they're the same. So if at some point you get to a point you're replacing the clutch, anything that's a Stage 3 applicable clutch, either South Bend or another option, they're going to work.
Approximate total installation cost, including the clutch for, say, the South Bend?
The clutch itself is actually probably one of the most expensive installation items on here, just because you have to actually drop the transmission, you have to drop the drive axle, and you have to drop the differential that goes to the rear. So that's about a 12 to 14 hour job. So, shop charges $100 an hour. Sure. There's $1,400 just in replacing the clutch.
Okay.
But
plus the 20, however you said 2,500 for the. How much was the clutch?
The clutch itself is $1,500.
Okay,
1575.
So $3,000
so
every.
$3,000 in replacing the clutch.
Okay.
But I mean, me personally, my opinion of South Bend, you're not going to have any issues out of it. I love the South Bend clutch. I know of many people that have had issues. Out of the South Bend product itself, but I had one clutch in here that ran for that many miles and absolutely loved it. Tension on the pedal, everything was good. I've personally had no issues. And APR, up until this past year, was a distributor of South Bend for 8 years. They stopped because of money. It's just going to come down to a margin thing. Distributing other people's products, you're not really making much money off of it.
Can you mention the other brands again? Did you mention those? Other suitable brands?
As far as another suitable brand to this, you've got HS Tuning, which has a new clutch that they just brought out here a while back, probably 6 to 9 months ago. It's been a very comparable option to the South Bend. There's been a lot of rave and success on it. As far as outside of that, getting into a Sachs upgraded just clutch disc itself. If you wanted to keep the pressure plate, as long as the pressure plate was not in bad condition, you just get a Sachs clutch disc itself and mate it with the pressure plate and put both of those back in. Because that's typically what's done with a lot of your aftermarket clutch manufacturers anyway. They're not manufacturing their own clutches. They're buying from Sachs. They're buying from what's the other one? Waveco. You've got 3 or 4 different ones that
I don't know any of those brands. It used to be Center Force was all you'd do back in the day. I don't know if they still do that.
But it's you know, a Sachs option. You got a South Bend option. You've got HS Tuning, Spec. Actually located outside of Birmingham, Spec clutches. They do a lot of motorcycle stuff actually. They're a decent clutch.
Okay.
You know, you've got several different options.
All right.
When the clutch was replaced, the transmission was replaced as well.
Okay.
Transmission was replaced because I had a buddy out of Europe that is able to get transmissions at a decent price, and at that point, it's a wear and tear item. And of course, I'm not gonna lie. This car has been, you know, it's been driven. As a car should be when you get something like this on. So I went ahead and replaced the transmission as well, just to give somebody, you know, ease and peace of mind that it's not going to be anything that, you know, 2,000 miles down the road you're going to blow synchronizers in second, third, fourth, or fifth gear, something of that nature. So the transmission's been replaced at the same time. So as I said on the trip, it's the same mileage on that as well.
Does APR recommend a replacement interval? You know, for a high horse, for a stage 3 car on the transmission?
No. The only failure points in the Golf Rs specifically are synchronizers. So either one of 2 options you have: buy a new transmission if a synchronizer goes, or rebuild the synchronizer. There's not really an upgraded path to that, because I would say, me personally, I've heard of, when I was at APR, probably 25 people that had transmission problems, and there's 4,000 of these cars on the road.
Okay.
So it's, you know, it only comes down to that. All right. Any more questions under the hood?
No.
Okay. All right. All right. As far as wheels and brakes and tires, tires are brand new.
You know what? I'm really sorry. I'm gonna have to pause this video.